Castlevania Chronicles is an action platform game developed by Konami and released for the PlayStation in 2001 that would be a reenactment of the original game in the series, dating all the way back to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986. But this version of the game would act as a direct port of a 1993 re-envisioning of the game that would have been released on other consoles that had better graphics and gameplay models, and visually for its time looked stunning. But this version offers both the original mode to play the game in its original format, but also an arrange mode that offers a more modernised experience with even further enhanced graphics, including more cinematic elements, updated sprites, even rebalanced gameplay and a remade soundtrack. And all of these enhancements were made to make the game more accessible for more modern players and even new fans of the series. The game itself would later be ported to the PlayStation Network in 2008, again allowing players to get involved or even for fans to revisit the game. So the premise and story of the game sees you control the character of Simon Belmont, a vampire hunter who has entered Dracula's castle with the aim to defeat him and save Transylvania. That will take you through many variants of redesigned stages from those seen in the original, where you have to defeat waves of enemies, avoid obstacles, dodge traps from all areas while upgrading and finding a specific set of weapons that you'll need in order to survive. But you'll also have to pick up healing items along the way to keep yourself alive. Now, as it's a Castlevania game, they are very popular, even dating back from the Nintendo systems, even on the Super Nintendo, and even with the PlayStation edition when we had the likes of Symphony of the Night, which released in 1997, which would end up being seen as one of the greatest games of all time and the best game in the Castlevania series, even still to this day. But these games are tough, make no mistake about that. I do remember playing some of the early editions of the games. The first one and even the third one were very similar. The second one took a different route. It was almost kind of like, for example, like when I remember going back in the early days, like even playing games on the Super Nintendo, you played like Super Mario Brothers. I remember a mate of mine had like the Mario All-Stars collection, and the first Mario game would be your typical and the original Mario style game, whereas the second one would be totally different, but again only to later find out that that was a rebranding or a re-envisioning of a game that had already come out before, but just used Mario and all of the characters from the cartoon. Castlevania kind of did the same thing to a degree with the second game, where it moved away from the originality, and then the third game would go back to its roots, and then from there on it would kind of chop and change a little bit here and there, but later games would stay true to the original format. The games would since move into more 3D dynamics that were good in their own right, that would play a lot like the original God of War games from the PlayStation 2 era, but realistically I don't think anything can beat Symphony of the Night. It is the best game in the series, without a doubt. Any fan of the series or anyone that knows the Castlevania games will tell you that. Upon the release of this game, it was met with fairly decent reviews, stating the fact that they liked the way it kept to the originality to the concept of the main game, but while adding in additional elements to make it more modern and even just to bring in new audiences, but still managed to add something new, which was a nice touch. So if you're a Castlevania fan, it's definitely worth adding to your collection. It offers enough nostalgia and enough gameplay that you'd be familiar with classic games, but that also adds more elements in it to help you keep playing and to stay interested for longer periods. But just be warned, like all these games in the series, it's tough, and this one's equally as tough as any of the rest of them, in fairness. You will have your work cut out for you, but dedicated players will definitely get the benefit out of this. But with that being said, I would love to know your thoughts of Castlevania Chronicles for the PlayStation. Are you a fan of the series in general, and which is your favourite game in the series, more to the point? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around other games similar to Castlevania that were also released on the PlayStation, then leave a like on the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and you can check out this playlist here on screen to see a lot more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.